Okay, so in this tutorial I'm going to cover some basic rotoscoping techniques within After Effects with you. So the piece of footage we've got is let's just give it a quick playthrough. It's a character walking from the right side of the screen to the left, and what we want to do in this shot is quickly mask around his hair and change his hair to a purple or pink colour. So let's have a look at the shot. Yep, we've got him walking through quite fast, and so cool. First off, we'll need to create what's called an adjustment layer. So an adjustment layer is a layer that we have in our timeline, which we can create, and we can put any effect on that. And you know, when you start working with complex projects, you'll have a lot of layers in your sort of timeline down by here. Now, an adjustment layer affects everything directly below it. So if you've got a blur effect on there, it'll affect every layer below it. So let's make one and I'll illustrate that. So go to Layer, then New, and Adjustment Layer. Cool, so we got that there. Now the effect I want to put on is a color correction effect. I want to change the color. So there's two ways of doing it. You can go to Effect and come into Color Correction and select it here. It's called Curves. Make sure that this adjustment layer is selected, but there's another way as well. You can either, in the Effects and Presets box on the right, type in Curves, and then you've got it there. Or again, you could just, you know, come in Color Correction, have a look through. Ooh, I want to use Curves. So if you're doing it this way, just click and drag it onto this top adjustment layer, and then we've got it on the side popping up by here. Now we can just start clicking in here and darken or light. Explain image made up of red, green, and blue pixels, and so you can see channel RGB. So we're bringing down the red, the green, and the blues, so it overall collectively makes it darker, and again it collectively makes it brighter. Now we can do it to each individual channel. So when we click here, we can do it to just the reds, just the greens, or just the blues. So to make it a sort of pink, I'm going to come into the greens, and I'm going to suck out some of the green. So you can see we're going a sort of purple colour, and you can bring down, this is the highlights, the green highlights up here, and this is the shadow area, so you can do that. And I'm going to pump in a little bit of red, so I'm going to go into the reds and take this up a bit, and again shadows, and if you wanted to, these are the highlights. So I'm going to leave it like that. Now obviously it's affecting the whole clip at the moment, so you know, you can come in here and turn it on and turn it off. You can turn the whole layer, adjustment layer, on and off. Again, if you have this adjustment layer below your footage, it doesn't do anything because this adjustment layer affects everything directly below it. So yeah. Now we want to just single out this effect as just on this actor's head by here. So to do that, we need to start drawing a mask. Now, I always start my masks when I'm masking, or rotoscoping is the word which we should use. I always, for some reason, like to start it when the character's kind of in the middle, but I recommend starting when you can just see him. So I'm going to get the pen tool and zoom in and use my middle mouse button to pull left and right, and I'm going to draw a basic mask around his hair. So I'm clicking and dragging. So click, and my finger's still on the on the mouse, and I'm clicking and dragging around this character. And I just wanted to do the hair in this example. Let's go around like this. Click and drag to get these curves, because the last thing you want is, you know, loads of points like that, because it just means more points that you've got to animate. So I'm going to click and join up my mask and come out like that, give it a bit of a curve. So right off the bat you can see that now we are isolating that effect just to his hair. So I want to feather it first of all. So on your adjustment layer, if you hit M twice, you can see you've got all these mask properties. Now first of all, we can give it a little feather, so do that and give it a slight feather, and you can, this icon by here turns off the outline, so you can kind of see how it's working. So we're changing his hair color first of all. and yeah, play around with the feather, see what works for you. So what we need to start doing, I'll turn this outline back on with this button. What we need to start doing is we need to start animating this. So just what a lot of people tend to do is just move through frame by frame, thinking they have to do every single frame. But if I was doing a head, what I would do, I would look at it, I would move forward to when the head is at the highest point of the walk cycle, which I think is about there. Yeah, it's about there because his head starts going back down then. So I'll move to the highest point. First of all, actually, I'll come back to where it lines up. So come here, and where it says mask path, hit this stopwatch. Now immediately I've got a keyframe. That little diamond thing is a keyframe. So whenever the time slider comes across and hits this keyframe, it knows that at this specific point in time, that mask has to be in this position. Now again, come forward to where he's at the top of his walk cycle, which is about here, and you can get your selection tool and start moving this mask forward. And you will also want to probably come in and, you know, start clicking these points. Now, just a few things before you get a bit lost. Let me just there's a few issues which I'll just cover. I'm just going to move these into place, something like this. Okay, probably come out a bit as well. This is a bit hard to see, this colour of this mask. I'll change it in a second. Now, what a lot of people do is they first of all, let me just change the colour of this mask. I'll change it to a blue so we can see it a lot better now. Now what a lot of people do is when they want to start animating is they'll move forward and they'll click in the centre by here and then just move it, and you can see when it's got these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, when it's got these dots around the outside, this is like the transformation controls for the adjustment layer, and we do not, repeat, do not want to go moving the adjustment layer. When we just click in the middle and move it like that, we're not moving the mask, we're moving the whole adjustment layer. We don't want to do that at all. What you want to make sure you're doing is selecting these points and moving these. Now, right now, if I were to do it, it moves them one point at a time, and this is something you might run into. In order just to get back to normal, you can either one way, I just sometimes click off and then click mask 1 again, and we've got all of these points moving together, okay? And then we can, so let's just move that there. Now, let me just show you something. I want to start moving these points individually. So the way you do that is they're all filled in squares at the moment. Click off, and they're now circles. So you can start moving them individually and making this work a lot better. Like so. So again, to go over what I just went over, I'm going to now move forward in the timeline to when he's at the so his lowest point to when he's at the highest point. He hasn't moved up very far, but I'm going to do this point. And right now, if I were to start moving, they just move one by one, and I don't want to move them one by one. I also don't want to click it and move the whole adjustment layer by clicking in the middle. You see, whenever you've got these dots around the outside, that's bad. You don't want to do that. So just click off and then click mask 1, and you've got each point filled in as a square, so you can move just the mask, okay? And obviously now I want to start moving these points so it fits better, so I'll just click off and then I can now move these points individually, something like this. And you can move the handles to alter the curves and just keep on going like so. So I'm very quickly going to move through and do a very, very rough version because I don't want to take too long in this video. But you know, it doesn't take too long. It's not the most challenging of shots. It's not the most difficult. But you just need to go through, keep setting these, keep animating this way through, and you'll end up with a shot which has just got his head rotoscoped. So keep walking through, doing this. If you want to skip to you know, 2 minutes on, or when I finish rotoscoping, you can. but I'm just going to do it very quickly because I am going to cover a few more things actually. So give me a quick second. Do that. Actually, tell you what, I'll pause the video. But yeah, so I'll pause this and I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, so I've got my shot to an okay, semi-okay place. We've basically got it going through. It's not the best. I'd expect you to do better than this. You can feather it to make it look a bit better. So yeah, I've got it to an okay standard. So let's give it a little playthrough to see what we've got now, because there is a little bit of more work I'd like to do to. So just let that play through. Give it a second. But you can see how by just making one adjustment, putting an effect out to a specific area, which is one of the main sort of, I guess, advantages of rotoscoping. So that has nearly cached in. It's just got 10 more frames to cache in, and it'll play back for us. So we're going to have a little review of it, and then we'll see what changes we need to make. Okay. This because is coming through block. I'm normally doing up and down, so I'd keyframe it when he was at his lowest point, and then keyframe when he was at his highest point. So we turn this outline back, and you can see that it's not matching up. So once I've 14 keys. I come in and just realign it, and this is called because I want to get this all uploaded for you. But yeah, you can come through and just have a look. Yeah, slipping a bit there. So select the mask, and yeah, keep on doing this all the way through. So mask, and click and drag it down like so. And yep, cool. And then I think hopefully that does come off a bit there. So come on in, tighten it up a bit. Yeah, and that's probably going to be the last area, I think. So straighten that up. Cool. Now, the benefit of this is, let's just drag that off. So just last couple keyframes, and then let's come to the beginning and just make sure. Yeah, cool. But he didn't take. The beauty of this, guys, is you've always got that there, so you can take it to some sort of like use on my his hair out. It probably look, you probably won't be able to do that. You know, it's just kind of one. So far, catch you in the next tutorial, which will be on cleanup. Cheers, bye.